heading to my car, and two dudes was walking by. She looks at them and says, "Hey." It happened in college. That was my first girlfriend, by the way. She was attractive. She was Kenyan and Colombian. YouTube, what's up? It's your boy King Sedaris in the building with another video in case you didn't know. First video on this channel right here. This video is gonna be talking about the girl that broke my heart. Now, this happened about 6 years ago. I recently got my heart broken not that long ago too, but this video isn't about that. So this video, I'm gonna be talking about what I learned from that experience. The whole point of me making this channel is because a lot of men out here dealing with mental health issues, committing suicide, going through depression, all that stuff. I experienced suicidal thoughts before a couple years ago. So I know how it is, and I know how me seeing videos with other men talking about how they got their heart broken, stuff like that, it really helped me at the time when I was going through stuff. Want to do a similar thing. It feel like God was leading me to do this for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about a lot of things on this channel. It's gonna be all things health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, I'm a man of God. So I don't want you to look at this as necessarily red pill content, but it's gonna be all scripture and godly based. It happened in college around 2020, but I got into a relationship around like 2018. So I was 20 years old. That was my first girlfriend, by the way, like first official girlfriend. We dated for 2 years and I don't know where to start, so I'm gonna just start here. The first thing I noticed about her that was a red flag, if you never got your heart broken before, if you did, look out for this. So it was me, my girlfriend at the time, and like she had her friend, I had my friend. We was leaving a calf in college. So we was about to head into my car, and then two dudes was walking by. So I'm just thinking nothing of it. But then my girlfriend at the time, she looks at them and says, "Hey." So she said hey to the dude, my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was attractive. She was Kenyan and Colombian, 5'7", chocolate. She looked nice. So the dude saw her, was like, "What's up?" So I'm looking at it like, why did she just say what's up to this dude? So that, when I approached her about it, she was just like, "Oh no, I said hello because that's what my mom does. Like my mom, when she sees people, she says hello."
Stay off the...
I was about to say something, but this is a godly channel, so I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, so that's what she's telling me at the time, like, "Oh nah, I just said hello, because that's what my mom does."
No!
Us being nice, pretty much. That's what she was saying. Me at the time, not having trust issues and stuff like that, I'm believing her. I'm like, oh, so her mom said this, so that's what I'm just trying to reason with her because I like this stuff like that. So my point is, when things don't make sense, it probably doesn't make sense, so don't try to make it make sense. I try to make it make sense. That's what led to me getting my heart broken, making things that didn't make sense make sense. So that happened. Another thing that happened, which was like closer to the breakup, she went on a girls trip.
Traffic!
Now, at the time, I ain't know nothing about girls trips. I don't even know if that movie, Girls Trips, was even out. But I'm not trying to allow anybody to have no trust issues and stuff like that. Your girl, she can go on a trip with her friends that are girls, but you just have to have the right girl. There's a lot of girls out there that's not good, so that's why a lot of men think that, oh, girls trips are bad, that's when they're gonna be cheating and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what happens when you with the wrong girl, and yeah, she gonna be promiscuous on the trip. But if you got a woman or girl that's not promiscuous, because there are women or guys that are promiscuous, she can go on a girls trip. But me, fortunately at the time, I was with a promiscuous woman, so she went on a girls trip that she went on, maybe 2 times once every year throughout us dating, and nothing ever happened, at least that I knew of at the time. So when she came back, she was gone for maybe like 3 days. I was ready to see her. I was like, damn, I ain't seen my girl in 3 days. I'm ready to see her. So then when she came back to my apartment, my eyes lit up, I was ready to see her. She looked at me, put her head down, stood by the door, was like, "Oh, I think we should do like no PDA for the next, for all the links." I'm not Catholic, she was Catholic, but I'm not Catholic. So she was saying, all right, so let's not do any PDA. You know, I think at the time, maybe it was like 30 days, something like that. So I thought it was odd. Long story short, she met a dude there. She told me the story. She was like, oh yeah, the guy, he kept flirting with me, this and that. And like her friends was looking and they asked her, so, oh, why are you speaking to him? You in a relationship? The signs was already there, but you know, I'm just listening to what she said, like, oh nah, this is my girl. So yeah, she told the guy that, like, nah, if you with your girl and she telling you about this, like a dude that tried to flirt with her and like just the conversation going kind of long, it's like, you gotta look at that as in, like, why is she telling you this long story about a dude that's trying to, you know, talk to her pretty much. So, you know, that's what happened. She told me, you know, there's different things about the guy and stuff like that, and I'm listening to it and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm glad you held it down pretty much. I'm like, all right, so she pretty much curved that. And I thought that was it. But then, you know, as time went by, she started acting different. Like Valentine's Day was coming up. She ain't post me on Valentine's Day.
What?
She actually she posted another girl.
You played yourself.
So, you know, she was doing things that looked like she was single, stuff like that. It's over time. She said we was gonna take a break. Now, at the time, I didn't even know what taking a break meant.
Boy, have you lost your mind? Cause I'll help you find it.
I actually thought it was like, oh, we're just gonna take a break to work on ourselves.
Yeah.
To work on a relationship. That's what she told me at the time. So if you dated someone and they tell you like, hey, baby, we should take a break, that means break up. And the crazy thing is, my mom at the time, you know, woman's intuition, your mother's intuition, she was telling me, oh, y'all broke up. I'm not understanding the language at the time, you know. I don't want to say I was a simp, but I was really naive. So it was just like, oh nah, she said we taking a break. The break actually meant break up. I didn't know that, but you know, that's why I got my heart broken up. So she told me, hey, we should take a break. Well, I'm thinking, you know, we just taking a break. So that went on for about like 6 months, and then we got into an argument. The argument wasn't even anything like super big, so that's another thing. When a girl is ready to move on, she'll just use any type of excuse to just basically leave, pretty much. So that's pretty much what happened. And then on her birthday, I ended up finding out that, you know, she was already seeing somebody else. Now, mind you, I was with this girl for 2 years. And when we stopped speaking for good, that was probably a month and a half until her birthday, where I saw her, you know, on a video on Instagram with a whole nother dude on her birthday. After I just dated this girl for 2 years, so, you know, I saw that. Remember, I just came from the grocery store. I had bags in my hand. I dropped my bags. I'm like, what the hell am I seeing right now? So after that happened, you know, I was heartbroken. I went to therapy. You know, I cried a couple of times. Had to go to, you know, my uncle's house at the time just because for one day though, I couldn't just be by myself. Yeah, and you know, it was really bad. And then as far as like the suicidal thoughts, that happened not even because of the relationship. I didn't have a good support system at the time, you know. Shout out to my parents, they was there for me, but I didn't really have no friends at the time. So it was even harder on me. Then on top of that, COVID was going on, so you know, I was really, you know, hurt about that. So then, but that happened even before this situation. I'm just trying to let you know everything that was going on in my mind at the time. So yeah, all that happened, and then, you know, I just started my healing journey. But you know, a verse that wasn't really, you know, sticking with me at the time, but you know, looking back, you know, God is near to the brokenhearted. And a verse that I would think about at the time was that God will never leave you nor forsake you. So even at that time when I felt alone, there was people that was there for me, whether it was my parents, whether it was my uncles. I did have a couple of friends at the time too. Well, when I say friends, I'm talking about I didn't speak to these people every day type stuff. When I called them, it was like the first time I was speaking to them in like a year, a couple months, stuff like that. So, you know, the Bible says that I've sent an angel ahead of you that'll guide you to the place that I prepared for you. So I had people that was there with me at the time that was, you know, helping me throughout that process. Yeah, therapy helped, but you know, I did have other people that were, acquaintances or friends that was helping me were healed throughout that process in addition to God. But yeah, this is my first video on here. I ain't really want to go into too much detail about, that situation. So, I mean, like I said, that happened like 6 years ago. It's 2026. And yeah, but I'm gonna be talking about a lot of topics on this page, on this channel. It's just the first video, more to come. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button. If you got your heart broken, drop in the comments what you learned from, getting your heart broken. Many more videos to come. Case of there, some more.